Ah, hello. No, not so. Sorry, the cat just sat up as I did that, so I'm not talking to the cat. It's much like I'm sat all on one side of the picture, but it's because Paul will be in a second. He's just doing stuff in the kitchen, but my camera's going to go off, and I've balanced it on like this thing, just because it's going to be slightly better light because the light in front of me is all I use, and last week, it was like half. Anyway, so we've just watched this week's episode of Discovery, and it's just occurring to me. I've got no idea what it was called, but I think it might be Series 3, Episode 4. Oh. Um, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was really good this week. I thought it was much improved on the last two. Oh, yeah, there we are. So you had like the first one, which was just Michael, the second one was just Discovery. Last week was the first one they were all back together, so this is 4. Um, for me, I think uh, this is kind of getting back to what Star Trek should do best, and that's really holding up a mirror to what's going on in our own world, what's current, what's happening now. And in recent years, there's been a huge focus on mental health and not making it taboo, and it's okay to not be okay, which was a massive theme, I think, this week. Um, and yeah, and they handled it really well, I thought, because it was done respectfully and reverently, but also with a bit of a smile and humour. Um, Tilly and Emperor Giorgio in particular, I thought were really funny. Um, and oh, I haven't done the spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning.
Look away now, basically. Oh God, have I put on loads of weight again?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
I'm not convinced.
You never are.
No. Okay. So I just thought this was slightly easier because we both actually got light.
Okay.
Um, if
Well,
anything, I'm too bright. Um, so yes, I really enjoyed it. What I thought was also really lovely was the whole handling of the Trill thing,
mm,
because um, obviously, you know, there's a part of you that goes, "Oh, they've gone back to Trill." It's a new series, do something new, come up with something new. You're like a millennium into the future. Why does it have to always be the same old races and the same old shit? But I think there's a certain amount of they'll get to that. I think they can kind of take us by the hand and lead us a little bit more gently with it.
I'd say as well to that. I mean, yes, it's a very valid thing, and I know there's always been an awful lot of stuff in the past about let's even do things like move away from the Federation. Let's look at the Romulans. Let's focus on stuff that hasn't actually been looked at before. But I think this is important, and I think the way they're doing it, especially with this episode now, which works so much better than the ones before it, is that at the moment they're fundamentally trying to reconnect with the Federation and with their perception of what the Federation was, what it should be, versus what it actually is at the moment in the current season. So it actually does make story sense for them to be going to a lot of these places we've seen before in the Federation type stuff, because that's part of them reconnecting, which obviously is one of the things that was so good about this episode that I think I heard you sort of touching on just a moment ago with the mental health aspect. That one of the key things for this is how they are literally completely severed from everything that they know,
Mm.
because of the time jump. So this is almost as much part of their mental health journey as well, of touching base with those familiar touchstones. And I think it's a good way of doing it for us as an audience, given how divisive probably the previous season, especially the first season,
Mm.
that this is very much a trust us, we are going somewhere with this. And we are taking familiar things from the mythos, and we're updating them and we're taking them in a new direction. So yeah, I'm actually very curious to see where they go next with this sort of stuff.
And do you know what excited me the most about this episode? all the additional Starfleet uniforms from the last like 900 years that we never got to see, and they put loads of them on screen. Oh, I was happy as fucking Larry with that.
Although one of them did look remarkably like the Star Trek the Motion Picture style.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. They'd kind of. Oh god, I'd have to watch it and like pause it and get a good look at them properly.
I mean, I know they talk about fashion being, ever repeating and stuff from 30 years ago coming back into fashion now, but
Well, you had one that was very reminiscent of kind of future flashes you've seen before. So it wasn't quite, because obviously all good things is future. Possibly never happened. Well, in fact, definitely never happened. Probably never happened.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Yeah, cute. And so you had like it was kind of like a very obvious step on from like the
Next Gen,
what I call first contact style uniform, which is what the last Next Gen films had and what DS9 had for its last 4 years. So it was a nice step on from that with a badge again that you'd kind of seen as a future communicator, but right down to there was one girl at the end, essentially in like a 7 of 9 silver jumpsuit just with a Starfleet, and one of them had a really nice shiny Starfleet communicator. I thought, well, one of those
shiny.
It was shiny. I got excited. I thought that was really cool. I liked that a lot. I'm also now. I would love them to go to Deep Space Nine. I would love that. I mean, in theory, should be nobody there that we would know. Because I'm trying to think, did anybody there come? You could have a Dax still. But in theory, nobody there was long lived enough.
I don't think the symbiotes live that long.
I genuinely don't know. That's the sort of thing I would have known 20 years ago. I now have no
memory. The fact that Dax was already on their
7 or 8
7th
or
or 8th
9
host, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Genuinely, I'm not sure. Wikipedia. Oh, fucking hell, here we go. Wikipedia will tell you. Sorry, we've just had pizza and it's just making me obviously want to fall asleep. My hair looks all sort of swept to one side and I mean, I am thin in there, but anyway.
This will probably also now need to come with a language alert.
Surely my videos just automatically come with a language alert.
Didn't you do the last ones with a language alert? Because we were swearing like troopers.
Yeah, probably. I always tick the not made for kids box.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, I can say fucking twat and it's okay.
Even if it wasn't okay, you'd still say it. So
yeah, pretty much. But yes, no, much big thumbs up for this week's. It didn't strike me as one I would love forever. But I find that what
I can see a red light flashing.
Yeah, if you look at the
I
clock.
thought it was because the way it was like looked like reflecting in that.
It's just on the screen. It's just telling us this video is 8 minutes and 31 seconds long.
Oh, it's shorter than it normally
is. I'm not even sure I finished talking yet. I may have. Fuck you. So yeah, there was something else I wanted to say about it, and it's gone. What was I? So I would love them to go to DS9 and see what that looks like now. Because if they're kind of revisiting old favourites, so to speak, to kind of do that and then go outwards, which is a good way to do it, especially if you're trying to bring in fans who thus far haven't been really on board with Discovery because it's not this and it's not that and it's not the other. And
do you mean fans or fans?
I mean the sort of people that live in their basements.
So fans.
Yeah. We all know who I mean. The Simpsons do them particularly well. So yeah, that kind of shit. But I think that would be cool. Do we need to see what the current Enterprise looks like, if there is a current Enterprise given the state of the Federation? No, not bothered. If it's not going to be about the Enterprise, I don't need to see it. But you could have a trip to DS9, couldn't you? And I'm also assuming by this point, Because you've got to consider the last time we were really immersed in their universe, in their timeline, is what? End of Voyager / Nemesis, around the same sort of time with each other, roughly. So Alpha Quadrant rattled to death. Even though, thinking about that, I don't even know if that is, because I don't know if they've even got as far as the Alpha and Gamma border. They're not really even that far. They're not all the way into Beta Quadrant, and then you've got the pocket of the Gamma Quadrant that DS9 knows about because of the wormhole, and you've got whatever Voyager's journey was, which had loads of leaps and jumps in it, because they didn't take 75 years to get home, they took 7.
It just felt like 75.
God, season 5 fucking did. Anyway, but oh, it's painful. So do you know what I mean? So there's I'm assuming there's a lot more of the galaxy that they now know. Because this is one thing I commented, was the fact that Jeffrey, because I don't really get. That's the thing with Discovery, is I'm crap with the names. By season 3 of Next Generation, I knew every bastard's name. Season 3 of Discovery, I know Michael Burnham, I know Saru, I know Stamets, I know Tilly.
Detmer,
Who's that?
the cyborg that was having the pilot, basically.
I call her Ginger Blue Eye. Is that her?
Yes.
And then she's got Black Girlfriend, and then
Yeah, whose name I can't remember.
no,
Other than that
they've been there since the beginning. We should know these people. We knew who Miles O'Brien was by now.
But I actually think that's one of the failings of the first Discovery, which is probably one of the things that
Probably one of the things they're trying to put right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I probably agree most with in the complaints that came out, which is it was the Michael Burnham show. And
I mean, we love Michael Burnham.
Yes.
And Shanika Martin Green.
It's,
if you ever see this, sweetheart, you're awesome. I fucking love you.
yes. But it just seems the show is trying too hard to basically shoehorn in Discovery, like, sort of Michael Burnham's character is suddenly Spock's half sister that we knew nothing about, or step sister, not half sister.
That didn't worry me. I've got to be honest. I was okay with that.
But it was all very much focused on. It felt like it was focused on spectacle rather than the crew.
Yeah.
So you really only got to know, like, literally 2 or 3 people, and obviously of the people you got to know from the first season.
They killed most of them.
Yeah, half of them end up sort of dead and completely irrelevant for the second.
Remember the Klingon nipples?
Remember the original captain?
Yes, I do, because Jason Isaacs, if you see this, baby. Love you.
So you'll be joining us next week for the next review of Discovery and the continuation of a relationship breakup on videotape.
I mean, A, Jason Isaacs isn't going to ring, but B, I'm going to leave that there. So,
But B,
if he did, we'd have a conversation.
Yes, we would.
You know I'm winning that argument.
It's sweet the delusion some of us operate under.
It's called a hall pass. Get with the programme. What were we actually saying before this completely went off the rails?
Welcome back to one of our normal review videos. But yeah, so the previous seasons literally seem to be focusing on spectacle, to the detriment of character development, to the detriment of us actually even getting to know who the characters were, never mind how they interface.
That was it. I was giving them silly names because I just don't know them.
Yes.
I'm back.
Second season was better. Third season really feels like it's... Because that's one of the things I was saying before sort of we actually started filming, was I think the thing I loved most about this episode is that it's kind of getting back to what, for me, is quintessential Trek, which is basically the kind of the human interconnections and stories. Like I think one of my favourite scenes from this is that dinner scene that Saru throws together for the bridge crew. And
I've been at that dinner.
Yeah, we've all been at that dinner. In some cases, we've all been responsible for causing that dinner.
Guilty as charged.
If you haven't seen it yet, you will know exactly what we're talking about when you get to that scene. It is every family dinner ever, across every bloody culture, person, whatever it might be. but that's brilliant because that's actually getting us to know the characters.
Do you know what I love most about that dinner, though? In my head,
You're
right,
Giorgio?
I'm Giorgio, right? In my head, that's how I come out of that situation every single time. The reality is I'm probably Tilly.
No, actually, the reality is. No, I
really,
can't say it.
I'm really quite worried about which other character because I can't win this.
I
Because
think
you can only win it if you really are Giorgio, and I know I'm not.
I think the reality of that is I'm probably Tilly in that scenario, or I'm possibly Saru doing the
Well, I've
whole
never been in that
"What the
scenario with
hell
you.
have I done and why have I done this?"
I've never been in that scenario with you, so
True.
um,
I can see you being a Tilly. So I swear this will all make sense when you see the scene. If you haven't seen, if you have seen the scene, then you probably hopefully do know what we're talking about.
and you know, if you have seen the scene, who are you? Leave us a little note in the comments because I'd be really interested. From my 10 friends that watch these videos, I'd be really interested to see who you think you are at that dinner party because it'll give me because it's only my 10 friends. I will go. You think you're that person? You're not. You're Stamets. You know, whatever. And if I don't know you and you're some complete random, hi, welcome, lovely to see you. And it'll just give me a little idea about what sort of person you are. So who were you going to say? I want this answer. I completely want this answer.
I think you'd be Stamets.
I'm not going to argue with that. And that's where I'm going to end it.